Hi there, you're at the JASMY Wyckoff technical analysis session. So let's quickly dive into both weekly and daily charts and see how far from the next distribution cycle or the buying climax is JASMY from. Okay, weekly chart. 2 weeks ago we shared this upward trend line. After 2 weeks, even though the price came down, it's still above this trend line. So for whoever has been waiting for the distribution cycle or the pump to happen, it's not a very disappointing 2 weeks, I would say, even though you might have been disappointed over the past 2 weeks, but it's still above this line and there's still a little bit of margin as well, so I'd say it's a good sign. So as long as it stays the same, it should be fine. And as well, like, the volume has come down too. So the selling volume that has come down means something better than like we see high volume bars over here when the price come down. So two not so bad signs for the path upwards. And let me extend this line a little, because last time we might not have covered this. So we talked about this triangle, I believe, the white line and the yellow dashed line. That's around December this year. And however, there's one additional horizontal line over here. Where it crosses would be around mid-January. So there are two very close together triangles over here. Both are well, actually the yellow dashed lines, those two lines, is an ascending triangle in candlestick pattern analysis. So you see the wave is traveling within this triangle. The one below this white line is the edge of the long-term playground zone. So you see the price has most of the time been trading below this white line. So if the price once again go above it, hopefully it's going to enter a new distribution cycle, much like what happened back in November last year, instead of just getting up here, and then return to the white box area. Because this time the lower lows, there's ascending triangle, all pointing towards the upside. And a Bollinger Band Keltner squeeze, this indicator is showing us the squeeze has started. I would consider it has started since beginning of July, but people that are more straight to the indicator, waiting until the purple gets into the orange, that's only started the week of 11th this month. So it hasn't started too long. It can last for a few more weeks and get more forces scattered before the bigger price move happens. So that's the weekly time frame, the macro view. And if we get to the daily, here, 2 weeks ago we put in a lot of tags because we know for sure a lot of events would happen in 2 weeks time. So starting from here, was that a buying climax? Bingo, it was. And then obviously not sign of weakness, there was a second test as well, and an automatic rally. Everything happened. And then there was a bit of backup and last point of support. Over here, the horizontal trading. And yes, a new buying climax happens. Automatic reaction. And an LPSY over here. There was no upthrust, however. Okay, so that's what happened over the past 2 weeks. And all the tags we put in, the red ones especially, we accept the upthrust, we used all of them and they're perfectly plugged in there. Actually, there was one sign of weakness over here that's missing. Let's add that back now. So at this point where we're now, that may be another LPSY, and it may have already entered a new accumulation again. So see the same levels right over here. That's for the daily time frame. So for the next few days, let's see whether it's going to stay above this dashed line. So it can continue to accumulate or consolidate along this line and eventually start the next distribution in the daily time frame. So it can go hand in hand with the weekly, but not necessarily the case. So if in the daily it trades sideways to accumulate and then go up to show us another buying climax, in the weekly chart you see it's what I talked about. It can come up to this dashed horizontal line, but then it can come down quickly and then start another round again. So in the daily, when it reaches the buying climax, supposedly another one coming, assume that will happen in September, that doesn't translate to what happens in the weekly chart. So the weekly can still be within the accumulation zone until the actual price surge happens. So short term, while it may go sideways a little and then up between this session and next session, because we're only covering these every 2 weeks, be mindful that another bounce may happen in the daily that come up to test this horizontal dashed line or even the yellow key level. The yellow key level is at 0.021. So let's put a bunch of tags again, right? So why not? We did it 2 weeks ago, let's do it now again. Assuming this is really the selling climax, that will lead to another automatic rally. Maybe there will be a second test to the downside, and subsequently, similar to last time, a backup and last point of support, and eventually a new PSY and another buying climax on the way. So let's see whether all these events will happen in 2 weeks time. Like 2 weeks ago, we put in a bunch of these, everything happened. This time, would it be the same, and would the buying climax be a little bit higher? Not like this one, below the dashed line, but somewhere closer to the solid line up there. That's all I want to cover for JASMY. Thanks for joining me.